Good afternoon, everybody on YouTube. It's Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. Alright, guys, as I spoke this week, I've been working on this Digital S or D-9 tape deck that we got in a donation. Yes, this thing was screwed up. Had to replace a bunch of belts, a capstan roller. The alignment and greasing was all dried out. This mechanism would not go into phase of loading a tape whatsoever. I couldn't move the loading arms. They were all, the grease was hard as a rock. So I got all that freed up and re-lubed everything. The loading carriage, like on VCRs, it was all screwed up as well. So I had to fix the loading carriage because the switches weren't in the right position and the gears were like somebody was forcing tapes through this unit. So anyways, as you guys can see, I did a lot of work on this deck. I have not tested it yet because I have not had any tapes to test it. Well, today we got some tapes, a 104 and a 64 Digital S tape to try it out with. Now, this is a metal particle half-inch videotape, very similar to VHS, but not VHS. This is high digital format, and it's a very similar type of tape, but it's not. All right, so let's just see if this thing's going to engage. I did do quite a bit of work on this, and from the things I saw that were broken on it, or not working. You know, you could generally work on a mechanism you don't normally need a tape, but in this situation I've never had any tapes for this format, so I had to do a complete mech rebuild, cleaning, rubber rollers, re-greasing, the whole bit, including I had to fix the loading carriage, which I was not counting on, but we did fix the alignment on the carriage as well. Cross our fingers this actually loads and does what it's supposed to do. All right, we got to turn it on. All right, okay, it's running what's called a diagnostics, so it's going to engage all the movable parts, I hope, and it should come up with zeros, meaning the deck is in working condition. Let's see what we get here. All right, still flashing diagnostics. The drum is spinning, that's good. That means the video head will work properly. All right, so it engages, beautiful. That tells you that it's doing a diagnostics to check everything out, and it should come up to 0. All right. Now we know that works, so the mechanism is working properly. Now will the sucker load? All right. Beautiful. Now it loads, we'll go into play, and as you can tell, it's going into play. Excellent. All right, that's exactly what this deck is supposed to do. It's loading perfectly. Everything I fixed on it is exactly what was wrong with it. The loading carriage, the mechanism wasn't working right. Okay, so let's see if it'll eject. Beautiful. So it ejects, and as you notice, it's perfect gap, meaning this eject perfectly on the gears and shot the tape straight out. There's no kinking in the cassette. It's supposed to come straight out, which it did. So if you load it, you can automatically just hit the play button on the front. It should engage. Beautiful. All right, it's actually working correctly. Beautiful, that's what we're talking about. That's what it's supposed to do. This deck was really screwed up, probably one of the worst ones I've worked on in a while. I did have to do quite a bit of work on this one. We fixed all the loading belts. We put a new rubber roller on this thing. The alignment, the swing arms, everything had to be re-greased and taken out and re-greased and repositioned and everything else. And the worst part about it was fixing this loading carriage was really, really screwed up. So we had to do that. So once we got the loading carriage fixed, and this is the test, it actually does work great. So that's very, very good news. Does it pause? And it pauses. All right. Does it rewind? All right, it rewinds. So all that's working. Now one more test we're going to try is see if this thing can fast forward after we rewind it. So that function's working good. Now how about fast forward? Oh, beautiful. And it hauls. Big time. So now we got fast forward, rewind. All right, so let's go back to stop, go into rewind position. And yeah, this deck is 100% fixed. I'm pretty sure of it. So we're going to check out and see if the play and record function works. And pretty much this deck should work just fine. It has it's been used a lot, but it's been sitting an awful long time, and that's a big problem. So that was a huge problem for this deck. So let's see where we get this at. Does it go into the stop position? Yes. Zero it out, record, and well, hit the eject first of all. Damn it, didn't want to do that. All right, so we put it back into the play position. All right. So let's hit rewind real quick. Do it again. Go back to 0 and record and play. Beautiful. So record and play is not working properly. We have no video on these. These are blank tapes, guys. These are just digital S tapes. Just testing this to make sure it loads and all the functions are working on it. Does it go in? Does it? All right. So let's try this. Hit play. Let's try shuttle. All right. Now let's try the shuttle position. Excellent. And that's working just fine. So the shuttle works. Beautiful. All right, we hit play. Let's hit rewind. So all the functions are working just fine on this deck. So we're going to try and see if I can just get it back into the record position or eject position on this thing. So, all right. Everything's working just fine. I assume all the cards are probably going to be fine on this deck. It looks like it didn't have a ton of wear and tear. It must have been sitting for a very long time, which I'm sure it was. So, anyways, this is a Digital S D-9. So Obsolete Video Services is well set up for playing these tapes. This is a very cool cassette. Looks a lot like VHS, but it's not. It's a metal particle Digital S type of tape. We do have two test tapes here, a 64 and a 104. But the mechanism on this deck, like I said, if you do find these JVCs, they're going to be pretty screwed up, guys. They have to be serviced. This one here doesn't look like I don't know if they used it a lot or it was just sitting an awful long time in a bad environment. But the carriage was messed up, so they must have used it at some point. So they wrecked the carriage on it, and the rest of it was just normal sitting wear and tear from age and had to be replaced. But anyways, this is a Digital S D9. So now we have the D5 and the D9 up online, so we'll be able to use either one of these at any point. Hope you enjoyed this video.